Yes, people. I'm still about. I'm still here, and we are back. I'm sorry that it's not been as frequent as I would have liked, but I've just been busy. So I'm back. I'm here, and we've got a good one today, and we've got our good friend of the podcast. Ain't afraid of nothing done. Back in the building.
Good for nothing done.
good for nothing done, as he was called on entrance by producer Jacob.
It's good to be back.
But yeah, no, we're back, and I know a few of you have been saying, looking forward to hear you talking about the heavyweights. Well, that's all we're talking about today. It's all boxing heavyweights. We're going to talk about AJ and Uysk or Uysk, whatever. I can't decide how to pronounce it. What did you say?
Uysk.
Yeah. Usyk and AJ, and of course the Gypsy King and Deontay Wilder. So we'll be getting straight into that, guys. But yeah, I appreciate you if you've been, looking for things, looking for my episodes and all the people that have watched it. And big shout out to Saudi Arabia. Hopefully I'm still 202nd ranked. But if not, then shout out to all you people out there, and hopefully you'll enjoy this one. So, well, let's get into it. So let's start. Let's rewind the clock a bit. Obviously, all the dust has settled now. So let's start with the AJ fight.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened?
Well, I think the level of Usyk, even though, like, if you've been following him for a bit, so, for example, if you look at his amateur record, and he's fought like Joe Joyce, and he absolutely battered him. You can find that on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, he absolutely destroyed him in the amateurs, like, made him look like a novice. And then he's gone through like the cruiserweight, just mopped up, took out Tony Bellew, like, which we went to.
Oh yeah, we were at that fight, weren't we?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember we were getting into them? Do you know what's funny? I was speaking about this the other day because I was telling someone, I went to the Tony Bellew Usyk fight. And they were like, oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, you got absolutely, unfortunately, obviously. He was doing really well as well in the build-up.
Yeah.
He was doing good in the early rounds. And obviously one punch ended his night. But do you remember those Ukrainian lads that were like, we're going to take your boy AJ. We're going to get your boy. And we were all like, oh, fuck off.
Yeah,
You're not a chance,
nuts.
mate. Not a chance. And we were giving him all that, like giving him the fingers and like, yeah, fuck off. AJ's going to smash your boy. And they're like, no, we will smash your boy.
Yeah.
Do you remember him? And he like waving the Ukraine flag in front of us.
They loved it. Fair play to the Ukrainian fans. Like,
They're mad for it, aren't they?
Yeah. And I don't blame him. Like, when you've got a talent like that, get behind him, because
100%.
He schooled Tony Bellew, and he fought Derek Chisora before AJ, and Chisora made it more of a competitive fight, to be honest, like, my opinion. But yeah, because he took the fight to him instead of tried to box him. I think AJ had the wrong game plan, to be honest. I think he tried to outbox the better boxer, because I think he just thought, I'm too big, I'm too powerful, I'm strong, whatever. Usyk trained really well. Like, I'd heard something that he was doing like 5-minute rounds with 30-second rest, and he was doing that for 15 rounds in his training camp. And my God,
Who was doing that?
Usyk was doing that.
For Joshua?
Yeah, obviously we don't know what Joshua was doing for his training. Obviously, look at him; he's not going to be sat on a couch eating chips and whatever. But Usyk looked levels technically and fitness wise above AJ, I thought.
Yeah, I think for me, I think a lot of people that I'd spoke to, like, look, you guys know, I've said I'm a bit of a casual. I'm always there for the big fights, But a lot of people that I'd spoke to, like around the office and stuff, like, oh yeah, it'd be a tough fight, but AJ will knock him out. And I'm like, and I said in the episode before this that it was going to be a chess match, and I thought that AJ would win on points. I thought that's how it was going to go. I thought it was going to be very, very close, but I thought he would edge it on points. And I got the way of the fight was won right, but not the right person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, AJ over his last few fights has not looked like the AJ that we saw against, say, I know he's a completely different level, but like we saw him against, were you there for when we went to see him against is it Michael Sprott?
Yeah.
And he just demolished it. I know
it's
a
a bit
different
earlier
level
in his
it's
career,
a different
wasn't it?
level, yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously early in his career, he's letting his hands fly, and obviously you get to a point where people, the levels are starting to match.
Yeah.
You get against, your Chisoras, your Dillian Whites, and you're like, right, I'm in a proper fight now. It's not just a 1-2 round, against like, some of the people that he's fought. But even like when AJ fought Klitschko,
yeah,
he's done he's done well to beat him there. And I'm not saying that he shouldn't have beat Usyk, but if you want the shot, especially when you've lost to Ruiz and then gone and beat him, it wasn't an absolute masterclass, was it? Where he didn't touch him and he just outboxed him for 6 rounds and put him to sleep because he wanted to.
Yeah.
But they've triggered the rematch clause.
Yeah, of course, because it'll generate so much money again.
So what happens in the rematch then?
I think the game plan will be completely different. I think they will have learned the lesson that I think Usyk beats him 10 times out of 10 if he boxes.
Right.
I just think he's got his number. Like we'll get onto with Fury and Wilder. I think he's just got his number as a boxer. I think AJ will try and make it a dirty fight and use his body to try and tire him out, like push him around, and work the body probably a lot to try and slow him down because his feet and his head movement. I think that's such, like you could see him, he was slipping so much and then coming back with like counters of his own. So like AJ was just like punching air, which takes it out of you.
Reliving your boxing career there, are you?
No, I could never do that.
You had a good body shot according to, was it Shane Neary?
Yeah. But no, I think I used to hatting with like the liver shots.
Yeah.
I think if AJ tries to do that, like I think he'll stand a better chance. Obviously, it's all hypothetical. Like, oh yeah, if you do that, you'll knock him out. But I think he just needs to slow him down and then just use his power. Easier said than done.
Do you think AJ just got behind his 1-2 too much and didn't mix it up enough? He was just trying to 1-2 him.
Yeah,
for 12
probably
rounds, and you need more than that, don't you? Surely.
Yeah. If you had like combinations of maybe 6 or 8, but you're leaving yourself open to counters, which obviously Usyk was doing, as I said. Yeah. But 1-2 is just, especially for any professional boxer, should be relatively easy to defend against.
Yeah.
But
if that power gets through, AJ's obviously got power.
Yeah.
He's got the speed as well. I know he's not, you probably wouldn't say he's as fast as Usyk because Usyk's a bit small, he's more agile. But for me, I think it was in the 10th round, and I remember I was watching it with Jam, and, they were saying because he said, keep up, get behind your 1-2, get behind your jab. He said, get behind your jab. And you've got to think at round 10 when you definitely, he maybe won 3 rounds by then. Yeah. He's probably down 7 rounds by then.
The corner must have known he really needed a knockout by round 10.
Everyone in the stadium and probably everyone at home knew that he needed a knockout.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, don't get me wrong, like, I want AJ to do well. I want to support the Brits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're always going to support the Brits, obviously, if the Fury AJ fight ever happens, which we'll talk about what direction everyone's going to go in a bit. But is he? Can you see him coming back and winning this fight because of how good? It's not like you're fighting Andy Ruiz again.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I don't want to discredit Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz is a fantastic boxer. And he's up there with the best in the world. But I feel like Usyk's on a different level.
Yeah, he is. I personally don't believe that he will do it. I always think that when fighters have these rematches, take, for example, Floyd Mayweather against Maidana, where Maidana got the rematch because he was probably the most successful against Mayweather that anyone had really been until that point. And then Mayweather just absolutely tore him apart because he's already seen what he's going to do. That's what he had success with. You've got to change it drastically to then rekindle that success or have any more of a chance. And I don't really think that AJ, unless he does go back to just making it a fight, but then that comes with its own risks because then you get erratic. And I feel like if he approaches it like with Dillian White, where he got buzzed and then he was just swinging for the hills, and he did get quite lucky with what he landed, but he landed it. So it can go either way, but I don't think that he'll beat Usyk personally. And I think it'll be an Usyk-Fury unification fight further down the line, and that'll be very interesting, in my opinion, because Usyk's so slippery, because he's like he's going to be a hell of a lot shorter and so much lighter than Fury. But I think that could be very, very, very interesting, because you've seen that he's gone down, and Usyk doesn't throw like one or two big punches. It's like, what's the word? It's like just beating you down, like suppression.
Yeah.
Like he'll throw like six to eight punches.
Yeah, he's just mauling you.
Yeah, so your head's like, and then I think that could be his approach if he does eventually get the Fury fight. But then Fury, again, he's shown in this fight, which we'll get onto, a heart of a true warrior, and he's got that power to put away even Wilder, which showed hell of heart.
I think, before we get onto the whole sort of Fury side of things, I think Usyk is, in my opinion, probably the number 2 heavyweight after Fury. I mean, personally, I know, we're going to go into it in more depth, but there's part of me that wants an AJ Wilder fight. I know that was teased a few years ago, wasn't it? And I really would love to see that fight. I still would. The problem is with it, is it's fucking boxing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It'll be interesting to see where Wilder goes after this, and obviously, if AJ wins this, does that make a trilogy with Usyk, or do they just put it to bed and move on to the unification? It'll probably be a trilogy.
He's the A side, surely.
Who? Sorry,
Usyk.
Yeah.
So
he is now.
If he does lose, is he not going to trigger a rematch? There's going to be a rematch clause in the new contract.
Yeah, probably.
Will he trigger it? Or will he just be like, I'll just let it go and I'll just go and fight Wilder? Or I'll just go and fight Dillian White, or I'll go and fight...
Yeah. You'd imagine he would, because, his post-fight interview was pretty chilling, to be honest, wasn't it? Like, how confident he was, and he was just like, yeah, I'll do it again. And I generally think that he kind of took pity on AJ towards the end. Remember when he was on the ropes, and I think he could have put him away.
Well, did you see the thing about they reckon they stopped the clock early?
No, I've not seen that.
So there's a thing going around that it went onto the 10 count and the clock disappeared off the TV, and they reckon it. Yeah.
Oh, really?
And they reckon he stopped it at around like 6 seconds left when he was mauling him up against the ropes, and then also Usyk come out and said he could have knocked him out, but he didn't.
Yeah. And coach was telling him to just take
box.
it easy.
Yeah. So if that, I don't really believe that, but he made it look like that.
Yeah.
So with the whole coach side of things, just touching on the losers of both fights with Deontay Wilder and AJ, something that, obviously we're not going to go into it today, but something that happens in UFC a lot is people change gyms and they go and train in different places. Obviously, Fury's done it as well with Ben Davidson, went over to Kronk with Sugar Hill.
Yeah.
Do you think, we'll talk about AJ first, because obviously we're on that topic. Does AJ need to switch it up?
I think so, yeah. I don't know if he will, because he's been with Rob McCracken since his Team GB days. So the loyalty's there, and hats off to him. But I think you do need to freshen it up, especially when you've got a fighter like Usyk that you're facing. You need a different game plan or approach, or at least analyse your performance, see where he was capitalising, and then maybe if Rob McCracken can't help with the fundamentals to stop that happening again, get someone else in. I've seen that there's talk about AJ with Eddie Reynoso, Canelo's trainer, which it's hard to say. Well, that's a conversation for a different day as well, because there's a lot of talk about that camp being riddled with performance-enhancing drugs, isn't there?
Yeah.
So that's...
They always say Canelo's on PEDs, don't they?
Well, yeah, and then there's also... I've forgotten his name now.
Who is it? What's his job?
He's a boxer.
I thought you were going to say it's like a
Oscar
sports...
Valdez. Oscar
Right.
Valdez.
I thought you were going to say like it's a sports nutritionist or
No.
something like that.
So yeah, people are talking about Oscar Valdez. Apparently, he failed a drugs thing and then went on to like it kind of got brushed under the carpet. Went on, fought and won a world title.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's Ryan Garcia, which is ridiculously fast. It's like, is there any truth to it? But
I mean, people are just generally train really hard, and they do get that. I know, like obviously, and again, in the early days of the UFC, everyone was on fucking steroids. Like there was no, it didn't. They just got brushed under the carpet, and then USADA came in, and now it's a different ball game. And now the people that were so dominant, like your Jose Aldo's, have kind of leveling out a bit. But again, it's also age. But yeah, so do you think like AJ would suit a Kronk gym? I know obviously Fury trains there, it's not gonna happen, but with someone with his power and stuff like that, like their tradition is knock them out.
Yeah. I think definitely. Like seeing what Sugar Hill's done with Fury from taking him with the last two fights anyway, from being that awkward big guy who just outpoints people, like that second Fury Wilder fight where he just demolished him, like it was obvious that whatever they were doing was helping, and he's put him away twice. So under Sugar Hill, that's 2 fights, 2 wins by knockout. So yeah, you can't say that it's not working. And Deontay Wilder, to be fair to him, like he showed a hell of a lot of heart getting up the amount of times he did. I think it definitely helped. I feel like AJ needs to brush up more on his defense. So I think that the Eddie Reynoso could be a good pick for him. Like looking at how Canelo is, where he kind of poaches his opponents and he like comes forward and he'll take it. Like look at him against Golovkin. Yeah. He took some big shots and then just came back, countered. I think that could be a good shout for him.
But do you also think that there's, in sports, like, obviously you have great trainers, great managers and stuff like this, but sometimes you just stumble upon someone who's just an absolute genius, like Floyd Mayweather. He's a genius. Canelo, again, is he just one of them where he's got the right trainer for him and he's just built him up enough, and then it's one of them where it's like, for example, like to put it in football terms, like Barcelona were at a point in like 2009 or 2012, whatever, where you don't really need to coach them. The team picks itself. Yeah, they'd already got the style sorted. Yeah, and they were unstoppable. So you didn't, mate. I could have managed them and would have won the treble. You could have managed them. Do you know what I mean? Like, So is it one of them where there's certain people that you get, like if you were, you could manage Floyd Mayweather, and he's going to win. You could be his corner man, and he's probably going to win.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
so with Canelo, is it that, and would AJ benefit from?
I feel like the Reynosos have had a massive impact on that because like Canelo doesn't get to that point without them.
True.
Like Chepo before, and then Eddie. So they're clearly doing something, and then they're stable. Like they've now got Andy Ruiz, which has lost a hell of a lot of weight under them. He seems to be revitalized. Oscar Valdez. Ryan Garcia, which is coming on leaps and bounds. So, yeah, they've clearly got a good stable and the coach is doing something right. I think that, just freshening it up with different coaches is going to help because you're getting experiences from different people which have seen different fights, got different philosophies and stuff, like Louis Van Gaal. Yeah. Philosophy. Well, yeah. No, I think it would be a massive benefit.
What you're basically saying is if he goes over there, his next walkout is going to be with a mariachi band and he's going to have a big fucking sombrero on.
I hope not. I hope he does the same. I was a big fan of Living in America, to be fair. Yeah. That was class.
So, no. But, mate, I mean, yeah, for me, something's got to change. You can't, I don't know what it is. I don't, like you say, the loyalties with Ron McCracken is fantastic. And he's obviously a fantastic trainer as well. I'm not trying to throw shade on him. I'm just trying to say what can be done, Is it just a matter of we just learn from the game plan because we've just boxed someone who's a genius? Yeah. And we've just got to try and think of a way to get him out of there.
Yeah.
So who knows? But speaking of another boxing genius, Obviously, Tyson Fury. Fucking 3 fights, 2 knockouts with Deontay Wilder. The first one was a draw, but I mean, I think we all know he won.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. I'd agree.
You know, that was a bit of a robbery. I mean, does anyone beat him?
Well, hit him hard enough and we'll find out. But it's one of them. After seeing Wilder knockout, was it every single person he's fought until it was, because I know he
was 39 knockouts, wasn't he? He only won one on points.
It was 49, but he ended up knocking him out anyway because he fought him again. Bermain Stavern. He beat him on points and then he fought him again and knocked him out. Like,
wasn't he 40 fights and 39 knockouts?
I can't remember which way around it was. Something like that. But yeah, arguably the most devastating.
He had like a
knockout.
95% knockout rate, didn't he, at the time before his first fight with Fury?
Yeah. And yeah, so Fury, I think, cements himself as one of the all-time great heavyweights with that trilogy. Like, coming back from retirement, still being pretty overweight in that first fight and getting put down the way he did and getting up is like, that's going down in history, that.
Yeah.
Second fight, knocking him out the way he did and just dominated him. That was schoolboy, wasn't it?
I don't think he expected it.
No,
I think he expected the first fight to be. I think he expected Deontay Wilder expected the second fight to go very similar to the first. However, he didn't think he'd get back up.
Yeah,
because he knocked him. He obviously fucking rose like the Undertaker, didn't he? But he knocked him down before that as well, hadn't he? So
yeah.
I mean, he's probably thinking that second fight like, oh, right, this guy's going to sleep now.
Yeah.
And then obviously he's changed gyms, gone to the knockout style with the Kronk style, and he's come out and he's absolutely obliterated him. That was, again, great fight. And then all the shit happened with AJ Fury. We thought we were finally going to get it.
Yeah.
It was going to happen. It was all set for Saudi Arabia. Shout out to Saudi Arabia. And it collapsed and Deontay Wilder 3 happened. I was saying that I had absolutely no interest in it. I'll be completely honest. I was there saying I'm not bothered. What's the point? Fury's going to win. You know?
Yeah.
I was right about that. But I tell you what a fucking fight.
Yeah.
Oh my days. It had everything.
It was probably one of the best fights I've seen in recent years.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
For a proper tear up as well, not just boxing. That was like, for the casuals, that was unreal.
Yeah.
If you wanted to show somebody a fight to get somebody into boxing,
forget all your fucking YouTube shit. Fuck that. Yeah. Show him that.
Jake Paul.
Do you know? Fuck all.
Do one.
Fuck all that. That's what it's. 2 knockdowns each, and then. So I mean, what do you think went wrong for Wilder?
I think like he bulked up too much. He looked like in great shape, to be fair, and I was just like, wow, he's ready for this.
No,
like,
doesn't matter how you walk though. Especially in heavyweight.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Andy Ruiz and Tyson Fury, they don't exactly look like the model heavyweights, do they?
What are you on about? Andy Ruiz is well sexy. But no, I think he put too much weight on, like muscle weight, and it just gassed him. I feel like he didn't have anything left towards the end. Whereas like you can liken Tyson Fury's body to a bit like Tony Bellew. He always carried a bit of chub, didn't he? But like he could always just maintain it and
just
like
padding.
and just like, and it carried power and and he could take it. That's what basically it boiled down to, because he took those 2 knockdowns. Was it the 5th round he went down or something like that?
So I think Tyson Fury knocked Deontay down in the 3rd.
Yeah.
Then took 2 knockdowns in the 4th.
Oh right, okay.
Which we'll come back to that in a sec, because obviously there's the
theories on that.
There's theories on the count, and then Fury knocked him down in the 10th, and then knocked him out in the 11th.
Yeah,
pretty sure I got that right. So, yeah, I mean the first knockdown, you're thinking game over.
Yeah,
you're thinking this is an early one. This is early. He's out of there.
Yeah.
And then in the 4th, you're thinking, oh shit.
Yeah, especially that second time. I was like,
yeah, when he's there, like just chilling on the floor.
Yeah.
So let's talk a bit about this talk again of a slow count. You know, there always seems to be something attached with Tyson Fury, doesn't there? So it's never just what a fantastic performance. There's always
Controversy,
someone, obviously, I don't know if you've seen, but it was Joe Rogan that started it, and it kind of blew up. He talked about the slow count. And, I need to watch that clip in full before I start fucking giving shit to Joe Rogan, because I don't know what I just saw a short clip of him saying that the clock should have carried on going while he was telling him to get to his neutral corner, but it was a bit of a delay. And I tried to count it when I was there, and I think I was about a second in front. But once you're up, surely once you're standing, does the count not stop?
I don't know the proper rules, but I know they're still looking at you, because you could be up, but you could be like jelly legs.
Right. He wasn't jelly legs. He was up.
Yeah. But I'm not sure if the count does stop properly. I'm not 100% on the rule in that regard.
Because he was fully up in time.
Yeah.
From what I saw, yeah, maybe they were 1 second behind. I don't know. Maybe I need to recount it again. Because I was kind of watching the fight, and then I was like, oh shit, I tried to rewind it and count it, but then I'm like, at what point do you start counting? Did he have to be in the neutral corner, or is it as soon as he hit the floor?
Well, I think from when they start counting?
Yeah.
As soon as you hit the floor, but that's the issue. Deontay Wilder didn't go to a neutral corner, so he got to like 5 seconds, didn't he? And then the referee told Deontay to get to a neutral corner. So in a way, he kind of screwed himself for not going to a neutral corner. Maybe he was like, oh yes, this is it. Maybe he was still a bit buzzed from being knocked down in the first one.
I think the last thing you're thinking,
count.
I think the last thing you're thinking of though, when you've just knocked someone down in a big fight, is what corner I'm going to. You're just thinking run to a corner. You don't think that's theirs, or you don't think, oh, that's my corner. You're thinking get to a corner, get away from him, because you want the count.
Yeah, that's probably that's a fair comment. But then they are professionals, which have been doing it all their life.
True.
You'd imagine, especially heavyweights, especially Deontay Wilder with however many knockouts he's had in the past.
They normally don't get up though, do they? This is different. This is Tyson Fury.
Yeah, true. But you'd like to think he'd know.
Yeah.
Because you're either running to yours, where the coach is, or you run into theirs, which you wouldn't want to do anyway. So you just run to the other ones. Surely it's not rocket science, is it?
Shut up, you dickhead.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it was a dodgy count. He was obviously fine.
Yeah.
He wasn't. Yeah, he was on the floor and he was kind of just chilling there, wasn't he? I think he kind of wanted, he's just sat down. He wasn't like way down, flat on his back like he was the first time. And I think if the first time, if they'd have just waved it off, I don't think you would have qualmed it, would you?
What? With what? Sorry, first.
So the very first fight, when he got knocked down and he rose like the Undertaker.
Yeah,
was it Jack Reese?
What, the referee? Oh, I have no idea.
I think it was Jack Reese. Yeah. And if he'd have just waved it off, you'd have probably gone,
fair one, yeah.
Fair enough. He's obviously fucking gone it, isn't he?
Yeah.
But that was brilliant refereeing.
Yeah.
Because he obviously saw that his eyes were like, fair enough.
Wired.
Yeah, he's obviously thinking, wow, that was. But then he got up and essentially, well, I know he wouldn't have got it on points, but essentially he fought back and
he outboxed him for the rest of the round.
Yeah. So again, like I've said, I don't think it's a dodgy count. I think you should let Tyson enjoy his victory and give Deontay some credit for his heart.
Yeah. I think he's getting it. He is getting it.
He is, but he was a bit of a dickhead at the end when Tyson Fury tried to give him respect and he pied him. Have you seen the video of that?
No, where I watched it, I lost signal, unfortunately. So
yeah, I think they put it on like Wad Bible or something, and were you streaming it? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I was.
Gotcha.
I was on a ship.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, he's got to be one of the sorest losers. I give him respect. I think he's he's a unit, isn't he?
Yeah. As a fighter, you can't not respect him. He's got all the power that you'd ever want. Well, maybe not all of it, because if he did, then he would have knocked Fury out. But pretty close to. And then he's got a hell of a heart as well. Just needs to be a bit more humble, really, and just basically. Yeah, I think he has. If you've seen his Instagram post, obviously he was sore straight after it, but I think he's just fair one. I think Tyson had my number and has my number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll probably get rid of Malek Scott, won't he?
Yeah. But then saying that, does he keep him for another fight just to see how it goes? Because Tyson Fury is a different breed.
He's number one, isn't he?
Yeah.
Anyone else but Tyson Fury, and they probably might have not got up. Some of the punches that Tyson took as well. I don't know. Did you see that one when it like reverberated down his body? Did you see that? Like all his fat.
No.
Oh, mate, it's brilliant.
His padding, you mean?
Yeah, his padding. Yeah. Honestly, it was interesting. I'll have to try and find it. So where does that leave? Let's have a discussion on what happens now with the heavyweights. So AJ and Uysk are going to fight. That's 100% happening.
Yeah.
So if AJ wins, then what?
Then it'll either be a trilogy or, in the meantime, Fury's got to fight, hasn't he? So who does he fight next, really? So that's probably a better way to go, in it, because you got AJ. We know he's tied up at least for Uysk, so that'll take to like maybe summer next year. It'll be early next year when AJ fights Uysk. I've heard
January, isn't it? Surely.
I've heard potentially February in Kiev. So he's going to fight in the Ukraine, which is going to be hostile.
Do you want to go?
I can't.
Oh yeah, you're away.
Yeah.
I'll get me England flag out.
But yeah, that would be unreal.
I wouldn't make out alive.
Especially if AJ won, no chance. Yeah. But yeah, so then it's like, so where does Fury go? Who does he fight next? Because ideally, he'd want to fight for the titles, wouldn't he? I think it will be a Dillian White. And the back and forth which they've been giving each other on social media. So White's been doing things which they shouldn't, that is frowned upon in the boxing community, and bringing up like sparring. Apparently, according to Dillian White's tweets, I think it is, he's put Fury down a few times when they've sparred in the past with body shots. And he said, like, he's basically been crying, like, don't. You can't imagine it, can you? You can't imagine Tyson Fury, like, stop punching me, whatever. So, but this is what White's supposedly saying.
I mean, if that is true, is it going to happen on the big night? Because on the big stage, Tyson Fury always delivers.
He does.
He's been knocked down loads of times in his career, and he's come back and won, and he's beat every single person. He's been knocked down loads of times.
But that's punches to the head, isn't it? I've not seen him been put down by a body punch, and Dillian White is the body snatcher.
True. So if they were to fight, who's your money on?
Still Tyson Fury, to be honest, because I feel like he's the better boxer. But White has developed so much from that AJ loss. I feel like he should have won a world championship by now. Like, I would love to see Deontay Wilder fight Dillian White. I think that would be a very, very good fight. Probably the best out of the, like, I think Deontay Wilder knocks out AJ personally. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's so wild and just unorthodox, really, with the way he throws. He doesn't really box too well. And I think AJ's quite predictable. He's very robotic and like quite upright and
just standard.
Yeah, he doesn't really move his head too much. No. Or when he moves his head, it's through his legs. And if you take his body out, like, then he's basically just waiting there to be knocked out. I feel Wilder knocks him out, but I think White and Wilder would be a lot more interesting fight.
I think Usyk beats Wilder.
I think Usyk beats everyone.
But Fury.
Yeah, and even then, I'd probably put that at like maybe 45% for Usyk and 55% Fury. I think that is a close fight, closer fight than people think.
I don't know whether I'm just being a complete and utter sort of casual here, but I feel that Fury just smash Usyk and just absolutely outclass him. I'm not saying he's going to go in there and knock him out, but I just don't think I think because of the height difference, the range difference, I just think he'd just jab him for 12 rounds and just win on points.
That's where I think that the advantage lies. I feel like skill level, they're probably about 50-50, to be honest.
If they were the same height, then maybe it'd be a different story. But I think they've both got a very, very high ring IQ. And that's why I think Tyson Fury uses that to his advantage and goes, I know that he's tiny. So I'm just going to jab and move. I'm going to hit him with 1-2s. He's gonna bob. He's gonna weave. But
the thing is, though, like, because he's so big and a lot heavier, even though he's still rapid for people like me and you, he's gonna be a lot slower for Usyk, whose reflexes are like fucking coiled springs.
Yeah.
So look what he's done against AJ, like slipped inside and countered. I feel like that's what he'd try and do again with Tyson Fury. However, like what you were saying, if he just puts his body weight on him, that's going to take its toll.
Yeah, definitely.
So
does anyone beat Fury?
Nah, I don't think. I don't know.
Final thoughts.
Usyk.
Does anyone beat him? Can anyone beat him? Or does he just
at current form? No, I can't say.
Does he just jet off into the sunset after a couple more fights?
Well, that's something as well. Does he? How long does he carry on fighting? Because obviously he's talked about his mental health, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And like he's talking about he loves fizz because it keeps him sane, basically.
Yeah.
Does he just carry on fighting until he starts losing? Yeah. Or does he get behind the, I've got my O here, like, and I could go down as, he already will go down as great, but if he goes down undefeated, then it's like, that's a different kettle of fish, isn't it? You go down like Rocky Marciano.
Yeah.
And
I believe he wants AJ.
Yeah.
I do believe that, but AJ's...
Why would he want AJ now, though? Because, like, unless you're talking money,
because it's like the Brits, battle of the Brits. When was the last time that happened? When there's two, arguably, the top heavyweights in the world.
Did Lennox Lewis ever fight? What's his name now? Absolutely massive bloke who fought Tyson. Why am I drawing a blank here?
I think I know what you mean.
He's got a lisp, speech impediment. Does pantomime now. I forget his name. I
can't think of his name. We'll find out after, won't we? We'll put it in the comments.
I think that's the last time there was ever a big thing.
But before Usyk, you'd probably say Fury and AJ are like 1 and 2, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So obviously now it might be a bit different, but
yeah,
I mean, that's the fight everyone wants to see. I think we'd be robbed if we don't see that fight.
It's happened though, hasn't it? Look at Amir Khan and Kell Brook.
Yeah, of course it has. Yeah, of course it has. I mean, you thought it was going to happen with Floyd and Manny.
Oh, it did. Eventually.
Yeah, no, I mean, you thought you were never going to get the fight.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that fight's... I just want to see... I'd like to see Tyson fight Dillian White. And then I'd like to see him fight the winner of whatever happens between Usyk and Joshua. Obviously, I'd prefer Joshua because I think it'd be a better fight. I generally do think, as good as Usyk is, I do just think he just jabs him all night and that's it. That's 12 round. Easy, not easy. It's never easy, is it? But I could be completely wrong, mate. You might catch him on the chin and there's his one. Usyk just... But, so yeah, heavyweights are looking good. It's looking fun. Yeah. There's a lot to come.
You've also got like Joe Joyce, who's just won a fight, so he's coming through, which will be chomping at the bit to get up there. And Daniel Dubois on the rebuild as well, with like Nathan Gorman as well. You've also got... you've got quite an exciting few heavyweights coming through.
What do you rate of your man Babic?
I've not actually seen him fight. Like, I've heard he's doing bits, and he's funny. Didn't he propose at his last win?
I watched his last fight, and it was just funny. He's just had a fight announced, and it was brilliant. But yeah, he's again another one. The heavyweight division is stacked, mate. Honestly. So, but yeah, mate. I think we'll call it a wrap there. But that was a good chat. Enjoyed that. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. I hope you're glad to see me back, because I am. I'm here now. I'm here to stay. Jacob's got all new cameras, and the Liverpool podcast is just keeps on building, mate. So we'll be in here. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, comment, get involved in the conversation. This has been the Put 'em Up podcast. Peace out.